think about the food in your kitchen right now. You know, that apple sitting on the counter or the avocados you're planning for guacamole. They seem, well, pretty ordinary, right? But what if I told you that every single one of them is a survivor? That each one is the final winner of this high-stakes, almost invisible journey that mixes ancient skills with some seriously futuristic tech. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the great global harvest and show you the incredible hidden story of how that food actually gets to your plate. Okay, let's get into it. So just look at this one little cherry. It was grown, it was picked, packed, and then shipped, probably traveling hundreds, maybe even thousands of miles. But here's the crazy part. Its entire fate, whether it would end up as a sweet, juicy snack or, a shriveled, moldy mess, was decided in just 2 days. A frantic 48-hour window, a perfectly choreographed race against decay. The answer to this question, well, it opens up this hidden world of logistics, science, and pressure that underpins pretty much everything we eat. So here's how we're going to break it all down. First up, we'll look at the human touch, for those times when nothing beats the skill of a human hand. Then we'll jump to the rise of the machines, which is absolutely essential for feeding the entire planet. After that, we dive into the race against time, that crucial sprint right after the harvest. And finally, we'll bring it all together with your food's secret journey. We're starting with what is arguably the most sophisticated and adaptable harvesting tool ever created. The human hand, guided by the human eye and brain. You see, for our most delicate, high-value produce, the kind that has to look absolutely perfect on a supermarket shelf, no machine has yet been able to replicate that subtle judgment and gentle precision of a skilled worker. This is where quality is everything. Just let that number sink in for a minute. 580 pounds. That's like a single person picking the entire weight of a large gorilla in tiny, delicate, easily bruised cherries. Every single day. Workers are often out there before sunrise to pick the fruit while it's still cool, and they move with this incredible speed and care. They're making dozens of tiny decisions every single minute. Is this one ripe enough? Is the color perfect? Is there any damage? It is a breathtaking display of physical stamina and expert judgment, day in and day out. And this quote right here, it just nails why that skill is so irreplaceable, especially for something like wine grapes. A machine can't tell the difference between a grape that got a little scorched by the sun, which would make wine taste bitter, and a perfect one. It can't spot a tiny bit of mold that's hiding deep inside a cluster. That whole selection process happening right there on the vine is the very first and most critical step in quality control. It's a human decision that you can literally taste in a good bottle of wine. And this need for a gentle touch applies to a whole bunch of different crops. Like with mangoes, workers have to deal with this tricky, sap-like latex that seeps from the stem. It can cause a pretty nasty skin rash, and it leaves these black burn marks on the fruit if it's not handled just right. With avocados, the technique is everything. It has to be snapped or cut from the tree in a very specific way, leaving a little piece of the stem attached. If not, a fungus can get in and cause it to rot from the inside out while it's being shipped. And then you have the watermelon harvest, which is this amazing, coordinated human chain. Workers are literally passing 20-pound watermelons down a line, hand to hand, like they're basketballs, to gently load them onto a truck. It's the only way to make sure none of them get cracked or bruised. Okay, so from the delicate human touch, let's totally switch gears. While that human skill is perfect for quality, it just can't compete with the sheer scale needed to feed billions of people. For all the staple crops that form the backbone of our food supply, we're talking grains, sugars, and vegetables for processing, the gentle dance of human hands gives way to the thunderous, relentless power of mechanization. Look, the reality is pretty stark. Without machines, our modern food system would just collapse. It would be physically impossible to hand harvest the enormous fields of wheat, corn, or sugar beets the world eats every day. The volume is just staggering. And this isn't just about saving money, it's about what's even possible. We need something that can work 24/7 in almost any weather to get these huge harvests in during their very short, very critical windows. A perfect example of this is the sugar beet harvest. It's like this incredible mechanical ballet performed by giant machines. First, a machine called a defoliator drives over the rows, and its spinning flails just slice the green tops right off. Right behind it, the harvester comes through, using these special wheels to gently lift the beets out of the ground. As they're lifted, they get tumbled through a cleaning system that shakes off all the extra dirt before they're carried up a conveyor belt and dropped into a truck that's driving right alongside it. The whole thing happens on the move, a continuous flow from the field straight to the truck.
And this is where the impact of mechanization becomes so incredibly clear. 20. A specialized pumpkin harvester can gently scoop up pumpkins, move them onto a conveyor where a small crew does a quick sort, and then load them for transport. That two-machine system can do the work of about 20 people harvesting by hand. In places with labor shortages, this kind of tech isn't just a nice-to-have, it's the difference between getting a harvest in and watching a whole crop rot in the field.
So here's the crucial point. It's not a battle of which method is better. They're totally different tools for different jobs. Think of it like this. Hand harvesting is a scalpel. It's used for high-value, delicate produce, where quality and appearance are everything. Mechanical harvesting is a bulldozer. It's used for high-volume, tougher crops, where speed and scale are the only things that matter. Sure, a machine might bruise a few tomatoes, but who cares if they're all going to be cooked down into pasta sauce anyway? It's a strategic choice, and it's made for every single crop we grow. Okay, so this is where our two stories, the hand and the machine, come crashing together. Because the moment a fruit or vegetable is cut from its plant, from its life source, a clock starts ticking, a very loud clock. It is now officially dying. And this kicks off the most critical phase of the whole journey, a frantic, science-driven race to slow down that unstoppable process of decay. Let's go back to our cherry and that very first question. This timeline, this is the answer. The first 48 hours are a logistical sprint. Immediately after picking, the rush to a packing facility and bam, submerged in 34-degree Fahrenheit water. This is called hydrocooling, and its only job is to rip the field heat out of the fruit's core as fast as possible. That one step dramatically slows down its breathing rate, basically putting it into a kind of suspended animation. Then it's sorted, often by these incredible optical graders using cameras and lasers to check for size, color, and any defects before being packed up and shipped out. The whole operation is designed to get it onto a cold truck before that 2-day window slams shut. Now compare that to a mango, which needs a totally different, almost counterintuitive process. After dealing with that sticky latex, the mangoes get a hot water bath, usually around 125 degrees Fahrenheit for a few minutes. Now, why on earth would you heat something you want to preserve? Well, this carefully controlled bath actually kills microscopic fungal spores on the mango skin that would cause ugly black spots to show up days later at the store. It's a perfect example of how every single fruit has its own unique preservation recipe, a specific set of scientific steps designed to give it the best possible chance of surviving the long journey to you. And while we're focused on the harvest, it's just wild to think about the investment required just to get the crop to this point. For example, it takes over 280 liters of water. That's about enough to fill a large bathtub to produce a single kilogram of avocados. We're talking about 5 or 6 avocados. That massive upfront investment of resources is exactly what makes the post-harvest process so important. Losing a crop to spoilage isn't just a waste of food, it's a waste of every single drop of water and every hour of labor that went into growing it. Okay, so we've seen the skilled hands that give us quality, the powerful machines that give us scale, and that desperate science-fueled race against time. Now let's tie it all together and really understand what this huge, complex, global ballet means for the food that actually ends up on your fork. So, what are the big takeaways from all this? First, that the modern harvest is this delicate dance between human skill and mechanical power, and each one plays a role that the other just can't. Second, the work is nowhere near done when the crop leaves the field. In a lot of ways, the real fight for freshness is just getting started. Third, that every single thing in the produce aisle has its own unique biography, a story written in hard labor, smart technology, and split-second timing. And finally, that getting that food to you is a daily logistical miracle, a massive coordinated effort that connects fields, packing houses, highways, and oceans all around the world. So from now on, when you walk through the produce section, I hope you don't just see fruits and vegetables. I hope you see the story behind them. You'll see the hands that judge their ripeness, you'll hear the roar of the machines that brought them in from the field, and you'll feel that invisible, high-stakes race against the clock that they had to win just to get there. So the next time you peel an orange or slice an apple, what journey will you see?